Hi everyone. The first collaborative tool that I'm going to show you is Edmodo. It's actually really cool. I had a lot of trouble at first logging on because when I first started to explore it, I was at work and I was in the Lebanon school district and I would search Edmodo and it would come up like the Lebanon district Edmodo because districts can work together on this because it's almost like a Facebook community, an educational Facebook. And it kept asking me for a school code, and I didn't have a school code. I'm at Lebanon a few days a week. I'm not necessarily a part of the district, and I almost switched because I was so frustrated because I wanted to at least be able to log in and kind of play around with it, but I wasn't able to. But I'm glad I didn't give up because I came home and I was playing around with it again, giving it one more shot, and I was able to log in. And creating a login, it's completely free, and it was super easy. So I'm going to log in. And it is almost like a Facebook page, but this Facebook page creates a digital classroom. And it can also be used as an educational network. And I wanted to play around with it, but I wanted to play around with it in an easy way. So I started with YouTube videos. There are tons of helpful YouTube videos out there. And I watched a few, and I think the longest one that I watched was maybe 7 minutes. And I walked away from this and I was like, I love this. I cannot wait to use this with my kids. You can create groups and classes. There's also a place for parents. You can give them a code and you can post to the parents on here, which is huge to me. I have daily communication logs that I send home with parents. However, they don't always come back signed, or honestly, I had a few that I sent home at the beginning of the year and they didn't come back at all. So I think this would be a great way because most of my parents have cell phones and they're on them, and this would just be, there are apps, so this would be just an easy app that they could have on their phone. Kind of almost reminded me like Class Dojo we use a lot of in the districts I'm in, and the parents are able to have an app and kind of see and be involved. But anyways, there's so much packed into this, so I'm just going to do a really quick brief overview, and I'm not really even going to show you too much because I didn't even create a class yet. But you can create a class, name your class, select your grade, your subject area. Your classes are different colors, which to me is super helpful in organization because I am in 7 schools each week. And actually in one day I'm in 6 schools, and all my binders are color coordinated, and my Google Calendar, my schedule's color coordinated, so it would be super helpful to me to just have different colors in there. But anyways, you can have assignments in here, there's quizzes and polls, you can have grades popping in here so students can use see their grades easily. The one thing, I went back and forth, and it's more like a discussion board. It's not like it's like asynchronous because I can't get on here and you can't see me talking and going through my lesson. I think that would be an awesome feature to add in there. Like I could embed a YouTube video in here, but I wouldn't be able to just have on Facebook, you have Facebook Live. There's no Edmodo Live that I could use in here, which would be super awesome. Maybe I should write them an email about that. I mentioned before, I think it's like an educational network as well, and I think that is awesome. So you can connect with people in your district. Like I'd mentioned, when I was at Lebanon, they were trying to put me in the Lebanon Edmodo, and it would be a great way for all the 4th grade teachers to see what they're doing in their classes and connect and talk about projects and what their students are having trouble with, what they're doing well, all of those things. As I look at the table on page 109 and 110, there are a few things that really popped out at me, a few collaborative outcomes, and the main thing was the shared resources. There's definitely a lot of things you can do on there. Another one was the reflection, because it's a private discussion forum. It's going back and forth. The next one was the immersive and question-based learning. I found a really interesting article when I was like kind of doing my research and looking at YouTube videos. I just put in like Edmodo, ways for teachers to use Edmodo, and I got like 20. It was this article. I'll put it in the bottom of this discussion for you to check out. It was really neat, and it talked about using this for role playing. So I think that would be awesome because some of my students I have conversation goals with, and two of the objectives are about role playing and just having like a little, I don't want to call it a fake conversation because it's not completely fake, but it's a conversation that I'm saying certain things in it to get a response out of them and keep the conversation going. So I think that would be really neat to almost even just do it online with some of my kiddos. Start off online and then work to face. I think it might be a little easier for them almost. And I also talked about the demonstrate mastery because, again, it could be a student-led discussion. They could post on here for me to see something as well. And I think you have, I don't think, I know the teacher has control of kind of what you can see on there. Connecting it to the journal article, the social presence model, the one thing stuck out to me, and it was that having an orientation session to help the student understand like how complex online learning is. I definitely think this would be something that you'd want to have like an orientation about. I feel comfortable. Like if I would sit down tonight and create a class, I'd feel pretty comfortable. But I also think there's a lot of stuff on here. So it would be helpful to get everyone together, show them everything that's on here, and go from there. As far as the other things in the actual social model, the social presence model, I definitely think a lot of it would be done beforehand, like the effective association. That emotional connection you need to have an emotional connection to your kids, the content, everything. And I think to have that from the start is kind of key. I know you're going to it'll grow as the course goes on, but I think at the beginning is key. I also think the community cohesion, again, at the beginning, you need to have a sense of community from the start. The interaction intensity, I think that is going to be based off of the instructor and how much the instructor is interacting on here, because I think at first it's going to need to be prompted. I think you're going to have to set out with a purpose and have students reply to get the conversation rolling. Knowledge and experience, you can do assessments on here. It would be super easy to do a little pre-assessment, kind of figure out what's going on, figure out what you know. And the last one is the instructor involvement. Again, I think this would really start out as an instructor-led tool. But I do think that as time went on using it and such, kids would really fall in love with it as well. Overall, I really love it, and it's definitely something I'm going to look into.